lust is a thing that we are here to all transcend. And what is that? It's to transcend the inner compulsion to seek things outside of you at the cost of yourself. You know, I'm not saying don't ever enjoy intimacy or being with people, or definitely not. But there's a huge difference between chasing someone and chasing something outside of you to get a fix versus being open to life and in a receiving energy and being able to respond to what you would like to experience in the moment or not. You know, either way, you're cool, you're chill with it. And I think that's the big thing with the awakening that's happening with men at the moment, is they're realizing that this inner compulsion that comes with a whole set of conditions on themselves to look a certain way, to be a certain way, to riz, you know, like I laugh about it now, but you know, there was a time when I bought into all that stuff and game and, you know, yeah, you go through your, you know, experiences that you're meant to, and then you realize that it's all about just being yourself, being in your own energy and being open to life and the right people and not judging others and not judging yourself. And lust is, you know, all the sexual instinct that we have, that inner compulsion that, you know, when we're younger, it has us looking at things online and things that we think are harmless, or we just do it because we're brought up in the digital age. You realize it's not harmless. It does have a consequence in keeping you tied to a certain reality of existence that just doesn't feel good. You know, it just doesn't feel authentic anymore to be doing that. You know, and if you've come to this channel, this video, then you know your soul, and hence my soul, also sharing this with you, because I've been going through this a lot, especially as of late. Your soul is ready to just be more in its integrated state in this life, as in you're more open to just being yourself. It doesn't matter what other people say or think, or if you, you know, don't get attention or don't get girls or women or whatever it is for you, you know. But that's the thing, we all have to learn from our internal wisdom on this journey. Like if you're, like all these videos and even on YouTube, all they can only do is help confirm what your own wisdom is saying. And from my experience, I definitely watched many YouTube videos of other people when I was trying to overcome this aspect of myself. But at the same time, there was a part of myself that wanted experiences, that wanted to see more women and chase, you know, that, have that game, you know, of, oh wow, like, yeah, she looks good, you know, and, you know, even beyond that at some points, just your whole energy gets activated and you're like, oh, how can I overcome this? Like, that's actually something I want to experience. And then you go and have that experience, and then you realize, well, for me, I realized that all these experiences are landing me in the same sort of place where I'm like, okay, it's not what I thought I wanted. You know, once you have the fix and you release your energy, you're like, yeah, it's not really for me, is it? You know, this whole thing. And then you have soul connections with, you know, people that are aligned with you. The intimacy and everything like that is, it's on a whole different experience. You cannot even compare to something that previously you would have chased or just seen as like a physical fix, you know. And you know, these words like fix and physical, and if you're watching this, and the reason I'm sharing this is that there's a side of you and part of you that wants to transcend our physical nature to where we're free from it. You know, we can be open with people and enjoy nice conversations and eye contact. And you know, even just the other day, guys, I was just walking at the beach, and you know, the beauty of eye contact just with, you know, women and just people in general. I locked eyes with a few, yeah, beautiful women. But in their energy, it was really quite pure, you know, and my purity was in exchange with theirs. And it's just nice not to have that narrative in the background, or I've got to be a man and perform, and you know, hey, you know, like you're just being yourself, enjoying the moment and being at peace. And I think this is what I'm trying to share in this video. is that through my journey of letting go of releasing my energy to corn and things like that, and there's an alchemical process that happens, and it's kind of like you've just jumped on a roller coaster. You don't know where you're going, but you know this is the right thing to do. There's ups and downs, and there's times where you relapse or new old habits that you were like, yeah, I don't need to do that anymore. But the common trajectory is ascending, ascending past this stuff. And that's really all this freedom comes from, is from just awareness of this. Like if you're watching these videos, guys, or if you have awareness of this, you're already there, to be honest. I think if our soul has incarnated our physical being to become aware of this at this point in time, then it's only a matter of time before you experience those deeper levels of freedom within yourself that are not dependent or not influenced by, lustful activities and chasing outside of you and releasing your energy. And, that's all I really wanted to share on this YouTube channel was my experience, because I think a lot of people too are so hard on themselves, when it comes to this stuff, especially as men. People are very serious with how many days they're on with retention, and again, the mind and the ego takes control, and it makes it serious, and it produces shame, and you judge yourself if you have experiences, or you, like all these words like relapse, and I even think that's way too serious for this stuff, life's not that serious to take this stuff too seriously, but at the same time, life and your own experience, through your own experience, you'll be like, okay, you'll just have that natural introspection to say, like, is this something I generally want to do anymore? And if it's not, then that's the trajectory you'll naturally be on, But there are some people that just love this stuff, or they think they do, because they probably haven't achieved a state of being, of peace beyond this stuff that they can feel is actually worth consolidating. But if you're watching this video and you're like me on a spiritual path, which even to call it spiritual is that's a whole other topic, but you're awakening more and more to just being yourself, being at peace within the moment. And these things that, like looking at online corn and things like that pull your energy away from you, you cut all that out, or most of it, and then you start seeing benefits in your life, feeling more at peace, more consolidated. You're getting attention, but then again, you don't place your awareness too much on that either. You use that energy to introspect, and you have more energy in day-to-day life, from my experience. But again, the mind can even take that as a serious thing. I'm getting all these benefits now. I'm getting, these women are looking at me now, and attraction, but you have to just be in tune with, is my state of being at peace and alignment with myself, my true self, is that occurring more as I let go of these things? You probably will find that it is, and that's definitely what I found through my experience. So it's been a no-brainer to continue on the journey of mostly retaining my energy, and definitely not like engaging with corn and watching that sort of stuff. And I will say, guys, like, even if you are going through that, that's okay, because I think that's something a lot of people are scared to say, is that, if you're watching that, then you're failing, you've failed. And no, it's all judgment, it's all judgment, because we're all exactly where we're meant to be in any given moment, and you're going to learn what you're going to learn regardless of what you think you did right or not do right at all. And that's what I learned, paradoxically, through all this stuff, is that there's a part of you that has to surrender to this. You have to surrender to your own inner awakening. And there's a freedom there that's so paradoxical, because you feel free from watching corn and doing all these activities, and you realize that that energy is no longer fulfilling you to invest it in those things. And then the paradox is that because you're not chasing those things outside of you with those lustful activities, there's a more consolidated sense of self within you of peace and wholeness, by which you're actually more open to receiving things in your 3D reality. And so then you are also gifted with awareness and discernment of people and situations and whatnot. And ironically, from my experience, you enjoy life more. You enjoy, you just enjoy the experience of life more. Your nervous system feels more balanced. You feel more connected to being present. And I think this is how lust really is a bridge to showing us the way home to ourselves further and further. And I like to use all these terms and like way home to ourselves and consolidated and home within and things like that. But really, everyone, these are just the ways I try to talk about it, that I can convert my spiritual experience into a language which cannot be a substitute for the experience, but that's all I can do, is use those words. But what I'm trying to say is that if it feels all complicated, those terminology and those words, don't worry about it, if you're here and you're identifying with letting go of lust and chasing things outside of you, as that being the main driving force in a lot of men's lives, there's a beautiful space and window that opens up, in my opinion, in your life to enjoy more and more of the present moment and be connected with who you truly are. And that's how I feel lust can be an accelerant of one's spiritual awakening. But at the same time, if you're having this awakening within yourself, then that's meant to be as well. That's perfect, and it's all orchestrated at the right time. And I like to remind myself of that sometimes, because it's very easy to slip into the trap of thinking, I did something wrong in my past, or I wish I learned this younger. But that's just guilt tripping yourself, and that's just judging yourself, which is not love. Love is acceptance without judgment. And you realize that there was no mistakes that you've made in the past, because it's all been orchestrated by your soul and the universe for you to learn what you have to learn. So I'll leave this video on this point of, don't be too hard on yourself. If you resonate with what I'm saying in the video, fantastic. I'll probably make more videos talking about this topic, because it seems that you guys enjoy this, and I actually think this is something that will actually be practical to help people, just sharing my experience. But being as conscious as you can in the moment, that's how I've found to experience greater and greater states of freedom and just being yourself. You realize you just being you, living in the natural flow of you, is the most important thing, by which the paradox is that it's also not important. It becomes more of a process of unlearning, to be honest. Spiritual awakening, it's more of a process of unlearning for sure. Like, it's actually the journey of letting go of what is not you. And again, the lust thing and the sexual energy and how that feeds a lot of our programs with needing to be attractive, needing to be strong and go to the gym. And I wanted to be free from all that, not because of some goal that I wanted it to fuel, but because I remember when I was going through my spiritual awakening, and I would feel so at peace at the moment, just walking at the beach, being in nature. And then I tried going back to the gym for a while, and it just felt so heavy, And I'm not saying the gym is a bad thing. It can definitely, it serves a purpose for everyone and anyone. And, I'm still open to it. But for me, it brought back a lot of awareness of my previous states of being in the gym and hustling, and I got to train, and then you start to question, why is that? Is this just for health, or is this for me to try to attract women, or for attention, or it runs deep? And I think this is the introspection that all men have to kind of look at within themselves if you're on this path. And I hope that helps, guys. But if you have any questions or comments, let me know, and I can make more videos talking about this. To be honest, I enjoy talking about this topic, but at the same time, Being open to life, I think, is important, and not judging people or yourself. Which I think on this journey of overcoming lust can be a very easy thing. When you start judging yourself with what you should do or what you haven't done, it perpetuates a cycle of shame, which then feeds into things that it drives you, from my experience, to do things that you ironically were trying to get away from. So be kind to yourself. Just accept yourself without judgment as much as you can. And I hope this video helps you guys. I'll see you in the next one.